Welcome to another episode of All in Purpose. I am your host, Miss May. This is season 2, and I have 2 special guests with me. Drum roll first would be Elizabeth. This is my best friend from high school. We have been friends since 2004. So 22 years, and we're so young. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Right?
And then right beside her is her little sister biologically, Nisha. And although that's her little sister, put her to the side for a second. Nisha is my little sister. And you guys will remember Nisha was on our first season, episode 2, actually. So, welcome, Nisha, back to the podcast. And we are here to just enjoy each other's company. We have great conversations offline, and it makes sense to come together and just share our thoughts, our wisdom, and just be ourselves with you in this space. So, welcome everyone. This episode is called Purposeful Parenting. And I just want to give a minute to welcome both of my sisters. Y'all say hey.
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 All right. So, we're all parents. We're all mothers, and Mother's Day just actually passed, so this is good timing. But I think, as a general thought, parents need support. We need help, and I think this episode is going to be good. We were all raised by really strong, independent Christian mothers. Tons of structure, tons of safety, safeguarding things, and we all have different parenting styles in a sense, but we have these core foundations in that run as a thread through us too. And so we're just going to be talking a little bit about our parenting, our children, how we navigate the waters in 2026, and we're all at different stages. So I'm just going to take a pause, let you guys talk about what ages you're parenting, your dynamics of your family, just so we can get a sense of who you are and where you are in your motherhood. So, Liz, go first.
All right. I have a 20-year-old son. It's been me and him for the majority of his life. Well, actually, his whole life, really, us in the house. And, I wouldn't have it any other way. It's really kind of, we become really close, for the most part. And we it's just me and him. It's always really just been the two of us in the house, and he doesn't have any siblings on my side, but I don't know. I think the dynamic really works.
Yeah. Okay, Nisha.
I am a mother of 4. My oldest is 13, so we have hit the teenage years. My baby girl, my only girl, is 12, and she'll be a teenager this year. And then I have a 10-year-old, and I have a 9-year-old. I got to think about it when I say it
Right.
because they're one after the other. And right now, my motherhood, I'm a single mother, and it's been that way since Jakari, my youngest, was conceived. Um, and hopefully, we get to talk about it a little bit later. That this season is intentionally me as a single mother. So yeah, but that's our um, home dynamic right now.
Cool. I love it. You guys are good moms. I've watched it, and
Mm.
I don't really talk about my kids too much on the podcast, just to kind of preserve them. I don't know, protect them. But for the purpose of this episode, I have 2 daughters. One is 14, one is 10, almost 11. And I'm single post divorce. I'm going on 4 years. So it's a girl's house over here. It's a mess filled with emotion and I'm sure hormones and hypersensitivity. And so it's a lot to navigate all the time, actually, every day. So, so good.
Mhm.
So you guys get to know a little bit about us, and where we are, and then we'll kind of talk through how we show up with where we are in mind. So, one of the first questions, just to kind of give us a little bit of structure, because I know we can talk about anything for hours, quite literally. So, just to
Mhm.
keep us on track. Um, and actually, I'll make a couple points. So, right now, in a part of this episode, Purposeful Parenting, we're learning to raise children with strength, grace, structure, and emotional presence. So many of us were raised by strong women who carried families throughout survival, sacrifice, faith, and structure. As mothers today, we're learning how to keep those strengths while also responding to the emotional and psychological needs of the children of this time, because these are brand spanking new kids that have never been around before. They're so different. And we
Mhm.
just we need each other, and we need as much wisdom as we can get to help navigate all of this. And so Proverbs 31 and 28 says, her children rise up and call her blessed. So my hope is
Mm.
at the end of my life, the end of your lives, our children, our legacy can be that we were blessed. And the Lord will help us be blessed because of all of his provision with grace and strength. So all that
Amen.
said, I'll start with you, Nisha. What are some of the greatest things your mother taught you that you now carry into your own parenting?
Ooh, such a good question.
Mhm.
I would say my mom never withheld her love. Me being the baby for 16 years, I was a baby for 16 years.
Yeah,
So I was the kid that crawled in mom's bed.
yeah.
um and she let me in her bed too, this willingly. Some nights when she worked late, I would just already be in the bed waiting for her to come.
Hmm.
Um, so one thing is that physical love, and that's one way that I receive love now is just a hug, a hand on the shoulder, or it's physically. So because my mom was always there for me physically. If we didn't talk about anything, we could hug it out. Um, and I really needed that as a kid. And so that's one thing that I make sure to do with my kids is even if it's a moment where it's tense or I don't know what to say, then I know I can physically be there for my kid because for one um that's how I received love. And so naturally a hug is always going to come, or a kiss, or like messing with them and playing with them
Yeah,
is always going to transfer and be understood for me as love. So I'm hoping that my kids receive it just the same.
yeah, yeah. That's important. Physical, I mean, they talk about love languages. Physical touch is a love language. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny because I think people talk about the love languages in the way of, romantic settings. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people really talk about it in like a familial setting. And so
Right.
I do that too. One thing I like to do that
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my dad did sometimes when we were in the car and driving, he would just like hold my hand. And now that I'm thinking about it, I feel
Mhm.
like it comes from him, but I've
Mm.
not been intentional about doing it because of anyone. So I thought it's
Right.
just like natural for me. So when I'm in the car with the girls, I literally hold their hand and rub it, and sometimes they'll reach for mine. I'm literally driving, doing errands, doing what we got to do, but making sure that we're holding hands. And I hope in the future they can remember this moment as love for them. You know, like I
Right.
try to be intentional about doing it for that reason specifically. So
Right.
yeah, I can totally relate to the desire to plant that seed so they know how to receive and give it. And
Yes.
not just the transaction of it, but just let it sit with them to equate love for them. You know,
Mm.
like
Mhm.
I think that that's my ultimate goal when I'm doing that. I just want them to
Mhm.
feel love. So I like that. I
Yes.
like that you shared that. What do you
Yeah.
have, Liz? You want the question again?
Mm, no, I think the
Okay.
thing that I was thinking of the most is I really appreciate the structure and the routine of like always, having something to do or like, we had chore lists and we had, bedtime and stuff like that. I really did appreciate looking back now,
Yeah.
I appreciate the structure and that helped me, just kind of I'm a creature of habit, I like the same things at the same times and things like that. So I mean the baseline of organization I think was my favorite thing
Mhm.
that I remember from growing up because, you know, things had to be neat and tidy and um
Mhm.
uh everything has a place. Like a lot of that stuff that I carry into my life now started way back then, So I like, routines and organization, schedules,
Yeah.
because yeah, that's really just the best way to keep things simple, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. Mm,
And I like that you said that too because, we're sisters, all of us. I'm that bonus
mm,
sister. And I think it's because of how similar we grew up. Like our
mm,
moms are very much alike. And I was going to say the structure provided me, I like the simple aspect because
Mm.
that's nothing I've ever considered that structure was offering me is simplicity.
yeah.
That is like
Hmm.
an epiphany right now. That I
Mm.
can choose to adopt that rather than pressure or stress. Like,
Right.
what I pulled from it though was safety. And I feel like
Yeah.
in a world, in the same way of simplicity, in a world filled with complexity and I don't know, just so many layers of showing
Mhm.
up, so many hats we're wearing. When you get home, if everything is in its place, like, okay, at least here I have
Mhm.
control, I have a sense of order. Like, I know what to expect in a world filled with so many uncommunicated expectations, but I'm
Yeah.
still held
Right.
accountable, right? Whether it's my
Mhm.
job or friendships or whatever.
Yeah.
But at home, this goes here, I can count on that. You know,
Always.
you know
You
what I
always
mean?
know where to find it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I
Mhm.
just think that
That's
that's
true.
important. And that's something that the military, for both my parents being Marines, my dad is not very tidy at all. I'm not sure why. But my mom, very, very tidy, very, very organized. And I
Mm.
feel like the Marine Corps and the military lifestyle, because of that consistency, because you know what to expect, because of the last standing order being in place, like that's how people can show up and do their job well because there's so
Mhm.
many systems and processes that they can count on for safety, for security, for simplicity. So, yeah, I think that that is a good takeaway from all of our upbringings, like the physical
Mhm.
touch and
That's true.
simplicity, but also that safety. So, I feel
Yeah.
like we have
True.
good moms. I'm just saying.
I agree.
This
I
call
agree.
is
And
recorded
everything
for
Look.
rolls into
quality
one.
assurance, mom. If you can hear
Right?
this, shout out to you, boo. Shout out
Thanks,
to you,
mom.
mom
Absolutely.
Jay.
Beow, 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 beow.
Okay. What did strength look like in your home growing up?
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
I think but for me, the same thing, that stability, the structure, the same. We knew to come home and things were laid out for us. And, we get home, we do this, homework, stuff like that. So it was just that um, it was just easy to follow, and I think that spoke a lot to, how mom had hands everywhere and in everything. She knew everything. I thought she had cameras when we were
You're
little
right.
because, she just
Accurate.
knew everything.
Good house.
Yeah.
Accurate.
Hmm. Right. So I'm like, it was just always that, the presence and the structure of, you know, we don't act up even if mom's not watching,
Mm,
because she's still here. Her presence has always been felt. So that's one thing
Mm.
yeah, I
mhm.
appreciated that for sure.
What
That's
about for
good.
you, Niche? What did you feel strength equaled in your home? Like, how did you witness your mom's strength?
Ooh. We have a lot of stories of my mom being strong. One of them,
Oh,
My
Remember,
little
she gonna listen
cousin.
to this now. Watch it now.
No, listen. No,
That's
right.
her
Hold
favorite
on now.
story. She loves it.
My
Hmm.
mom moved a whole couch, and my 4-year-old cousin said, "Oh my God, Auntie Shayla's strong." So not only her physical strength, of course, because my we
Yeah.
were raised by a single mom, so she did
Hmm.
everything around the house, and we helped. But as far as strength, um, honestly, my mom wore so many hats, probably because she had to, right, as a single mom. But I see my mom in church. I see my mom having to go to work, drop us off at Granny's house. I also seen her at church crying, so that, and then I seen my mom stick up to other women and people. So just like Liz said, having the different facets of a woman and being able to pull from, I can stand up for myself, I can
Hmm.
cry, I'm a woman of God. Um, I pull that now as a woman and as a mother, that my mom has so many, like she was every woman. And for me, that's like, that's a
Hmm.
lot of confidence too, of like, I can do this, I can do this. Why? Because I see my mom do it.
Mhm.
And for me, that's strength. And now I'm learning right now in my journey is strength is crying. So I'm like, you know what? My mom, she cries a lot more now. I can say
Mhm.
this because she says that she's a crybaby. So now I can say that
Uh-huh.
now I'm like learning like that vulnerability is also strength. And
Yes.
so instead of just being strong, pulling a couch and standing up to people, but then also, mom showed us that part being strength and is now as she's in her older age of like encouraging us like, yeah, crying is cleansing.
Hmm.
And so I'm glad I'm learning that right now
Mm.
in my 30s rather than later.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right. And also one other thing, I just piggybacking off what Nisha was saying, watching mom be the different hats in her, when she had to fight for us when we were young, and then now that she's watching us come into our own, and then even further out in all of her stages, watching her
Hmm.
wear those different hats still with us, and then with the younger kids, all of that. It's really empowering to watch.
Mm.
And you can see all of that.
Yeah.
And she's, I tell her she's getting soft in her old age. That's what that's what we've talked about. So yeah, just watching that is I think the epitome of strength, because strength and change go hand in hand.
Yeah, this is powerful. Yes, all of that, both of y'all. Um,
Yeah.
I can, well, I'll say one thing. My friend Whitney, you guys know, this
Hmm.
one time, she's a mother of 8. This one time we were picking up some furniture. I don't know, we were like helping this older couple something. And there was a washer machine. And the washer machine was in the U-Haul, and there were 2 men standing beside it trying to figure out, like, how are we gonna get this washing machine out of here? This girl said,
Oh
and
my
she's
goodness.
petite, she said, "Move out the way, I got
Yeah.
it." And literally just pulled that thing with so much ease, like asking
Mm,
where it should go, like rise to
mm,
the
mm, mm,
occasion. And I say the same thing about her to this day. Like, I'm
Yes.
like, girl, you pushed
mm.
a washer machine with your pinky. Okay. A pinky.
Love
You
it.
so strong, girl. And she just cracks up the way I'm sure your mom does. But
Hmm.
that's a testament to women everywhere. Your point is like, wow, what limits do we really have if we believe in ourselves? And you
Hmm.
know, strength. I'll answer the question too. For my mom was a really hard worker, and I won't say an overachiever, but I will say just excellent. She wants whatever she produces to be excellent, not doing things halfway. And so I watch my grandma, she's 85. If we come into town, she's cooking a full course meal. Like, and at the same time, where that's so important to be able to have that, drive and grit to do the things that life requires. There's
Right.
also that, like you said, Nisha, that wisdom to find the balance in vulnerability. When you need
Mm,
help, when you need support, don't be stubborn, don't be prideful, don't just be used to I can do it by myself. When someone
Mm,
is here to serve you, especially as a former generation, let them serve you. Let them help. Let them, let the seeds that you've planted be fruit now that you can eat like calmly, happily, and willingly. And
Mm.
so I just think that's important to notice. And um something about strength. Oh, one thing as a mother that I've always kept within me to get the job done for hard things is
mm,
I remember thinking whenever I went and got, all the blood work that you need to do when you're having a baby, I hate needles. I can't,
mm,
like, they have to use a
mm.
butterfly needle. They stick me 50,000 times no matter how much water I drink. It doesn't
Mm.
matter. Like, it's
Oh.
I
always
hate that.
difficult to draw blood for me. And I
Mm,
remember being pregnant thinking, it's for my baby. It's for my
Mm.
baby. And
mm,
that makes
mhm,
me just rise to the occasion. And even
Yes.
now, I'm not pregnant with anybody, but when I go to the doctor and I need blood work, or I need, like, I get Botox for migraines, and that's 30 injections, like in one setting. And I
mm,
find a way to
mm,
get it done by thinking this is for my kids. My
Oh.
quality of life is going to be bettered because I can be more present. I won't have little scars on my head that could lead to stuff later because I just lived with
Mm.
a migraine. Like, I find a
Mm.
mm,
way to connect the sacrifice and pain that I'm feeling physically
Yeah.
to this is for my children. They're going to benefit
mm,
because of me saying yes to this moment and, like, kind of sucking it up, buttercup, finding
mm,
the grit,
mhm,
finding that
Mm.
fortitude to say yes to the moment. And I'm just saying that to say, how many times have we shown up that way self-consciously, or, subconsciously, not
Mm.
mhm.
realizing that that's what's driving us, is that the
Yeah.
fact that I just simply have a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so, what
Mhm.
if the
Yes.
strength that our mothers displayed, that was their internal dialogue, even if subconsciously?
Mm.
What if that's how they were
Okay.
able to rise to the occasion? And what
Mm.
a
Hmm.
great generational blessing, whether
Yeah.
we've noticed, realized it or not, now that we can take some inventory, it's like, dang, that's great. I'm glad that I saw my mom be strong, whether or not I understood where the strength came from for her. I have to believe
Mhm.
that just being a mother, that calling of
Mm.
being a mother, made her rise to the occasion so many times. And
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
it's not lost on me that we're just like our moms. You know what I mean? Like, that ability to show up and not just perform, not just be
Mm.
excellent or perfect, but just show up in love and strength. It's because of what we've seen done. And now we're doing it. You know
Mm.
what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's important to pay attention to because there's so
Mm.
many times in life that, and I think society just, they have that saying of like, dang, I'm just like my mom. Like, I don't want to be like my mom. My mom. But it's like, no, there's so much value in your mother.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
there's so
True.
much to pull from and to learn from. Like you guys are saying, even now at this age for her and for you. There's a lot.
Mhm.
And I also like the reality check that as they get older, they do have to live in that vulnerability and allow us to come in and serve them. And now it's
Mm.
sometimes it feels like the roles reversed to where I'm the mama and you my baby. You know what I mean? Like,
All right. I don't know that yet.
you
I
my
don't know
baby.
about that
It's
part yet.
well, you probably have when you're giving her advice or feedback, like, take it
Mm.
easy today.
Okay. Fair.
Take it easy. Listen
Mm.
to your body. Like, that's
Okay.
definite coaching from a mother nurturing.
Okay. Coaching. I
You know what I
see. Right.
mean?
Right. Right. The
So
coaching part is
yeah,
valid.
that's
Yeah.
a
Mm.
mother
Yeah.
response. Now we have
Mm.
like the
Fair.
permission and maybe just the maturity for our mothers to look at us and be like, okay, she does know something. She's not a little
Right.
baby. She
Yeah.
has learned some things. And also,
Yeah.
I
Right.
love the fact that they can feel safe with us, not just
Mhm.
that sole reversed role of my kids can feel safe with me. Like, no, you
Right.
Yeah.
as my mom, I want you to feel safe with me too. I want to nurture you. I
Mhm.
want to love you too. So
Right.
I just
Oh.
like it all. I
Yeah.
like where you guys are with your guys' dynamic with your mom and mine too.
Yeah.
My mom,
Yeah. Agreed.
she called me
Yeah.
about something the other day and I just started talking and being encouraging and she just was like, I love that you're my daughter. you know?
Oh,
I love that I get to be supported by you and you just know what to say and how to say it. And I'm like, that's because you my baby girl. You
yeah,
mine.
Oh,
that's so cute.
So
yeah.
it's such a
That's sweet.
blessing to have the evolution of, being a mother. And what that tells me is that all of our sacrifice today is not for nothing.
Mm,
Like,
right.
we're going to reap the
Hmm.
reward of healthy dynamics with our kids because of all
Yeah.
of our intentionality today. So,
Yeah.
y'all got
So
anything to
good.
say on that? I feel like I went on a tangent, but go ahead.
No, I think that explained it all. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go
Yeah.
to the next
Hmm.
question.
Hmm.
Um, okay, I think this is good too. How do you personally try to balance structure, love, emotional support, and responsibility as a mother? We're gonna go with the one that has a 20-year-old first.
Uh-oh.
Because you've
That's
been there,
me.
done
That's
that.
me.
Teach us your ways.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Mm,
One thing I really live by or have lived by Damien's whole life is um, bring him up in a way that right has the foundation, the structure, the rules and stuff like that. And then as he gets older and starts proving that he can do well, I sort of back off, right? So he's had a lot of freedoms, in his life. Besides, of course, like certain places you can't go, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like he still has responsibilities, but for the most part, I let him be him, and he sort of has always led the way
Hmm.
and I'll be behind him, hey, giving him tidbits and, you know, making sure he's not straying too far off the path here or there, but things that I just let him develop, in a way that he wants to do. Because I could beat him straight with a rod if I decided to,
Yeah.
but he will make a 180 in 10 years. So I'm just letting him figure out his own steps instead of me trying to place things on him. I let him do it for the most part. But I make sure that I remain the stability at home. I like that we have structure at home. So I can't control what happens out there.
Hmm.
So I let him make the decisions, and he's thank the Lord that he's made good decisions this far.
Yeah.
Because it could definitely be much, much worse out
yeah.
there. So, but for the most part, I let him kind of, you know, I'm just behind him, protecting him for the most part. I'm letting him explore and find himself. Perfect. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I would add, as his godmother, I be the baby Paul. Okay.
That too. That
I'm
too.
the Paul.
Yep. Hmm.
Um, I have noticed his whole life that, you have, like, anytime we're on the phone, hold on real quick, Day has a question. And I'd be like, okay, he's not in charge, okay? He's not an adult. Tell him to pipe down. No. But you, as his mother, have made it really intentional of yourself to just be like, his voice matters. He may not be saying nothing,
Mm.
but the sky is purple today. Okay, I'm on the phone. No. But you know,
We love that. We love
yeah, you take time to just hear him out. And I think that practice is important. And I think that that type of emotional support is important in a world that often, especially as Black folks, people do not care about what you have to say.
that.
You kind of
Fair.
have to
Mhm.
fight to be heard, and that
Yeah.
home base of acceptance is important. And I think that that's a good foundation that anybody can propel into purpose off of, when you have a home base that is just willing to hear you and accepting
Mm.
of where you are in spite of where you might need to go. Like you said, you're
Yeah.
coaching him, you're cheerleading him, but it's not that you've only been hands off. I think as he's gotten older, like you said, that's been your approach to let go little by little. But when
Right.
you was a kid, you were
Oh
very
yeah. Oh
intentional
no,
to have
nothing flies.
conversation. Not even
Yeah.
that, but just like building a dialogue off of the happenings of life. Not letting,
Mm. Mhm.
like you said, nothing flies, but not letting an opportunity be missed where you can't educate him with it. And that's what I think,
Fair
Mm,
enough.
stopping to hear his voice, that was
Hmm.
you giving yourself an opportunity as a mother to speak to what maybe was on his mind, what he was concerned about, to educate him. So when you talk to him now
Hmm.
as an adult, he's very thoughtful. He's very careful about what he wants to
Mhm.
say. And I think, and I know that that's because of your output, what you've invested into him in those small moments where maybe me and Nisha would be like, please close the door. I I'll hear that the purple sky is present later. Okay. Overstimulated. Please go. But
Right
your
now.
approach to him, and that's something
Mhm.
else too. Like God knows who needs who when it comes to parent and child. Like,
Mm.
I couldn't
Yeah.
be Damien's mom. There's some kids that I'm around now, some younger kids, and they're so inquisitive and they have such good questions, but I
Mhm.
don't have the capacity to stop. I just don't. I
Mm.
don't have the capacity to stop every 10 seconds to meet your verbal need of engaging. Like, I don't want to talk all day. I just don't. I
Fair
don't,
enough.
but
Right.
that's not my child. That's not who God gave me, and I don't have
Mm.
the grace for it, on a
Mhm.
consistent basis like that. And so
Yeah.
you are the mother that was chosen, and I think that's worth calling out. Sometimes it feels
Mm.
like, dang, these kids are so different. Am I doing this right? And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you were handpicked to be this handpicked
Mhm.
kid's mom. They were
Yeah.
handpicked to be your child, like, it was so perfected
Mm.
the way that God
Yeah.
set you up. So,
Yeah.
you're gonna be equipped to have what you need when you need it,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
the outcome will be beautiful. So, I just wanted to kinda stop there for a second and really give you your flowers. You have walked through it, you have done it, and the boy is good, he's kind, he's helpful, he's a productive
Mhm.
member of society, and
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
important
Mhm.
that your hard work has not been for nothing. Like, we're seeing the fruit of it today, you know what I mean?
Fair enough.
So,
I
I just wanna
appreciate
give you
that.
your kudos as your baby daddy. No.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I love that. And, I appreciate that. One of my favorite things is seeing Damien in the world. And now that we work together, we're at the same job, two separate, buildings and stuff. But the way people love him, they like to have conversations with him. He's so, intellectual and thoughtful, and he knows a lot about a lot of things. I just to see that in practice and then also come back, hear feedback from others. That's just
Mhm.
it's been great.
I love that, Liz. And what about you, Nisha? I'm gonna read the question
Okay.
again, just so you have it. So, how do you personally try to balance structure, love, emotional support, and responsibility as a mother?
Ooh. Um, it's a lot to balance. Structure, um, feeling like I have to do something at a certain time, and I want to love them this way, and thinking about how they will receive it. It all seems overwhelming at times. I put that much pressure on myself as a mom and as a single mom, to make sure that they have what they need from a mother, but then also,
Mhm.
try to overcompensate for them not having a father figure in their life. Going back to what you guys are saying, was God placing the child with their perfectly placed parent? I love that you said that, because I feel like when I'm lacking as a mother, I look to the motherhood around me. So I love that God has placed a collective motherhood. So when I feel like I'm lacking things, I'm like, okay, I think of what my sister said. Don't let these kids drive you crazy.
Right.
Or when I just feel like I'm holding it in and I can't express myself, or I'm just feeling frustrated, I think of my mom and her motherhood. Like, girl, you better cry. Or May, when you called, we
Mhm.
were on the phone last week and you were like, let me talk to them. And they heard you. They didn't hear me, but they heard you. So I'm just so thankful that God has placed different mothers in my life with different structures and ways of loving, because when I don't have it, you all have it, and you step in. Or I, even if you're not here physically, I think of you in the way that you mother your children, like May with your girls and Liz with your son. I'm like, okay, let me try it in this way, so I get to step out of myself and kind of like pull from
Yeah.
different mothers in my life. Um, so, and I thank God for
Mhm.
that, because I don't have it all. So, I'm thankful for y'all
Yeah.
and your structure and the way that y'all love y'all kids.
We're better together for sure. And it's
Agreed.
funny, we take it takes a village to raise kids, but girl, it takes a village to raise me.
Ooh.
Like
Ooh, yep.
I need help still today, and that's never going to
Okay.
end.
Yeah.
And there's two scriptures that I want to note. Matthew 11:28. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. My grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12:9. So I want to pause a second and really honor the Lord, the way that He set us up for success as humans, but also as parents and in our case, mothers. We can run to Him and
Mm.
find safety, find comfort, find security, um, and find confidence. The next question is, what do you think children today need most from parents in this generation? I'm going to answer this. I think grace and patience.
Mm,
I think grace to grow and, the reality that we're somebody's child too.
mm,
That humility factor of like, I've gone through this, or being a teenager, I've gone through these ebbs and flows of life. I probably handled it worse than what you are right now. So I have grace for you, especially because you really aren't that bad. But it may feel trying, it may feel all these things, but, relying on what I've been given as a child of the King and
mm,
even a child of my parents, the grace to grow, the grace to develop. And, the best father, the best parent in the whole world is God Himself. And He's loving and kind, and He uses His loving kindness to draw us near to Him. So I try to activate that as much as possible, but regardless of my effectiveness in it, that's my heart's desire. And I think that all children really deserve, grace to grow and patience as we navigate new stuff. Because there's something I say to my kids all the time: you've never been you before at this moment in this age and stage, and I've never
Mm.
raised you before. Like, I've never
mm,
raised exactly you before. I've never been exactly me raising exactly you before. Like, this is
True.
new to us both, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just know where to go. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I
Mm.
know
mm,
the source, and then I leverage resources too. So I think that
Yes.
as a parent, what we can do and for this generation is just show up with, giving them grace and giving them that patience they need to get to the next level. So
yeah.
whoever wants to chime in there.
For me, it would be, I wouldn't say a filter because I feel like we were filtered and sheltered a lot growing up. But for me, it would be talking with them about the world, but in my lens. So I wouldn't want to talk to them with one outside of our house, in a kid appropriate way, in a teen appropriate way, but from a loving person with no bad intentions from their mother, in a way that God says, in a way that a Black woman says, and like I said, in a way that it comes from a place where they know that I care for them and I want the best intentions for them, but I don't want them to be surprised is of what's going on outside of the world, um, and just continue to feed into them, um, because I know the world is going to be attacking them or basically try to tear them down. So I want to be their inner voice by talking with them. Um, and that really means me regulating myself and my own emotions to do that. But as I get older, I'm realizing that they are listening. And it's not when I'm up here and I'm yelling or I'm irate, it's like, okay, it's asking them questions like, okay, what do you think about that? But for me, it's trying to um tailor it in the way that they understand, but then also, like I said, in the way that God says, because they're not always going to be at church. They're not always going to, be able to listen to a sermon, but I know that they right now can hear my voice until that if they can hear God's voice. So I just don't want them to be shocked when they're exposed to the real world. And that's probably like a selfish thing for me because that's what I experienced. So right now, as a mother of young kids, preteen and a teen, for me that's where the importance is of what I want to talk to them right now is. And I know it's going to shift because it does, but that's my focus.
Yeah, I think that's good. And I don't think it's selfish. I just want to speak to that. I don't think it's selfish of you to want to, you know, angle the wisdom in a certain way. It's wisdom, and
Mm,
again, going back to that, you belong with your kid belongs with you. Your desires that you have as a mother, your intentionality is showing up because your kids actually need that to do
mhm,
what they were purposed to do in this life. They need that specific thought process in you to be
mm,
angled in such a way so that they
mm,
can be what they were made to be. So,
mm,
um, I don't think it's a self-centered approach. I think it's really a selfless and, like you said, overall desiring them to be well and do well.
right.
And really, every generation gets better. Every generation, that's the goal.
Yes.
So you learning what you learned from your mom and then making adjustments that fit the needs of this time and your children, it's
Right.
totally appropriate. We can't, and we know this as mothers in 2026 and being millennials too. Like I feel like we have a good balance of desiring, you know, vulnerability and structure. We have a good balance of that desire, but the execution sometimes is really just a fumble. Like, I'm trying, you talk back a
Mhm.
lie. I would have never said that to my mother and lived, maybe, you know,
Right.
but here you are saying it to me, but inwardly, I feel no different about respect and structure and
Right.
accountability. But how are you manufacturing this from the lips that I birthed? It's like,
Right.
Right.
it's a lot to balance and
Yeah.
come to terms with, like you said. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
it's honorable to want to navigate things just right. And also going back to grace and patience, we deserve to experience it from ourselves, with ourselves, as we give it to them as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I like that. I like that.
Mm,
What say you,
mhm.
Liz?
Yeah, I mean, all that, I completely agree with everything you both just said. Who you needed as a kid, you become that for your children. And so I think that's a lot of, taking all the good stuff we've learned, all the bad stuff, you pluck it out, or, and being your best self really is at the foundation of all of it at the
Hmm.
best. So you can't raise good kids if you're not trying, yourself to be good or be, to grow and stuff like that. So I agree with what you guys said. What I think though, also kids need is home base, like structure, right? The knowing that your kid is always welcome back home, or a lot of stability in the way that's not a ton of change or not I don't know, just something that still will always feel familiar with everything else going on. Something
Hmm.
has to remain a constant. So
Yeah.
that's what I would like to make sure that my son knows, that my little siblings know it, you guys, your kids, anyone can just rely on me in a way that's like, if it's my ear you need, if it's some advice you need, or anything, it's just I'm going to remain me the whole time, and that's not going to
Hmm.
change.
Hmm.
And I'm here for you in any way you need me, mostly. So I think that safe places, um, things like that, really are just like baselines, that
Yeah.
you can always rely on.
Yeah. That's good.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's important to, like, you made me think about my godmom, who you guys know.
Mm-hmm.
When I go to her house, I look around, I feel a lot of nostalgia. Um, but, I look around and there are a lot of staples, and, like, even when I go to the bathroom, I was just thinking, she growing up, she just always had wipes, like, just baby wipes, she always had, like, Windex, like, I don't know, just things you don't plan to see, but then when you do, it does give you this huge rush of home. I'm home.
That's going to
And
be
so
me for sure.
yeah.
Because I've got all the snacks here, all
Yeah.
kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
No, it is you. It is you. It's
Mhm.
you now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
good. Well, I think all that's good. Let me give us this last set of scriptures and then we'll do our purpose push. And
Right.
then at the end, I'm gonna ask one last question of y'all. So Um, Philippians 4 and 5, let your gentleness be evident to all. Ecclesiastes 3 and 4, there is a time to weep and a time to laugh. I think those are good scriptures for parenting because, I mean, there was a lot of weeping in the wee hours of the night, right? When you're in the
Mhm.
throes of a newborn or baby stage. And then they grow and you don't have to deal with the heavy weighted car seat because now they're walking. Then you get the joy of seeing them run. It's just all these different stages. You're gonna have emotions, you're gonna have newfound ways to navigate the stuff. And it's all purposeful and it's all a natural flow of life, and we get to enjoy it all, you know? Like, everybody talks about missing the newborn stage, but a brand new baby right now is crying right now, they're
Mhm.
crying right now this minute
Mhm.
all over the
Mhm.
world, and the parents aren't
Yeah.
enjoying that, you know? But,
Mhm.
yeah, something at my job they always say is, "Be here now." And I think as parents, we have to not rush the moment, really enjoy where we are right now. That saying, you're right now. Yeah, I still remember the days I prayed for the things I have now. There's so many people desiring motherhood, desiring children. And just the other day, I was filling out some sports paperwork, and I hate, like, I don't know, I'm 78 or something inside when it comes to paperwork. I hate it. I want to pick it up, throw it away. Like I don't know why it bothers me. I don't want to fill out
Mhm.
paperwork at the doctor's. And I don't want to do it, whether it's in person or virtual. I loathe it. I do. So as I was sitting there, though, I just, how the Bible says, the scripture of he came to himself. I had like that moment of, "Girl, shut up. Okay? Just shut up." Because somebody is wishing for the moment to fill out paperwork for their kid to be in sports.
Okay.
All right.
So just the sobering reality of you are blessed and what is there a complaint for? Just be here
Mhm.
now. Enjoy the fact that your child can move and have their being to even be an athlete, right? There's just
Mhm.
so much ways that you can flip on the head of a complaint.
Oh
And
yeah.
Right.
so, yeah, the time to weep, the time to laugh, there's just so much good to feel and experience in motherhood. And
Mhm.
so this is a purpose push and our closing thought. Purposeful parenting isn't about perfection. It's about being intentional enough to grow while we guide our children through growth too. These are our purpose push questions. Are my children only learning responsibility from me or also safety, honesty, and grace? Am I making room for conversation, not just correction? What intentional habits can I create that help my children feel seen and heard? And the closing scripture is perfect love casts out fear. 1 John 4 and 18. Strong parenting and soft parenting do not have to compete. Children thrive where wisdom, consistency, love, and accountability and emotional safety can exist together. Purposeful parenting means we are raising children on purpose, not just by survival, habit, or even fear. I just want to thank you, ladies, my sisters, for being here today to talk about purposeful parenting. And just as we close, I want to say two things. On Wednesdays, I plan to upload this on all audio platforms. We will be putting these recordings on YouTube as well. So look there for All in Purpose. And I just want the wisdom of the Lord in my sisters to show up right now for you guys. And last words, what would you say to a mother or a parent in need of encouragement right now, this minute, struggling, being challenged by life? What do you feel they need to hear?
I would say, first and foremost, believe that you've got it. You've got this. And that don't be too hard on yourself or beat yourself up about too many things because you're not going to be able to curate the memories that your kids are going to retain. So as long as you operate well, you do your own best. Where nobody's perfect. So, you don't know what they're going to keep, what they're going to take going forward. So just don't stress out too much over what comes next.
That's great advice.
Thank you.
That is. And for me, I would say, and what has helped me is God is your refuge. There's so many
Mm.
times where it's just me here at night, or I'm at the grocery store and it's just so overwhelming, or I want to be able to do this or pay for that. But I really believe God is able and He's my provider. And just that thought brings me so much relief. So if you don't know God, get to know Him. He is a perfect partner in your motherhood. Or if you're trying to be a mother, just God is able. And that's what's been my saving grace is God. And yeah.
Girl, what? You go, girl. Not an invitation to
Amen.
Jesus. Come on in. Come on in. It's
All
nice
right.
over here. Come on. Come on. Come on in here. Come on. We'll welcome you home. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Okay.
That's such
Mhm.
Live.
good advice. Such a great call to action,
Oh,
sissy. God is for you. That is more than the whole world being against you, and the whole world is not against you. We right here. Hey, if you have
Right.
questions, if you have a prayer request, put it down in the comments. We are here to support you. We are going to build a community of this down the road. So this is not a one and done moment. And yeah, thanks for joining the podcast. Welcome back to season 2. And we will see you the next time. Bye. It's your word says, where 2 or 3 are gathered, you will be with us. And we are welcoming you into this
absolutely.
virtual space. Thank you for the opportunity to have a podcast, the opportunity to obey your word, the opportunity to serve your people in this capacity. Let your will be done in us and through us and for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Lord. All right, hey y'all.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me welcome
Hey.
y'all to this podcast. So, welcome to a
I literally had to pray
That
over my
face.
phone. The devil, you was a
okay.
lie.
Oh,
Hey
you
now,
yeah. Right. Get
okay.
thee
Why
behind me,
I
Satan.
oughta?
Yeah.
Why I oughta?
Yeah.
Why?
Love it. Love it.
When technical
Yes,
difficulties
yes.
come up, why I oughta?
Yeah. Put him up.
Playing
Put
with
him
me.
up.
Stop playing with me, man.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's funny.
That is. Okay, so it's a wrap. No.